All right, so you're going to get the truth today, and some of you are not going to be happy. There's going to be no BS, no fluff, just straight talk, and heck, I won't even talk about my group until the end. That's how serious we need to talk today. You're going to get the truth on if I'm bearish on Tesla, on Palantir, on SOFI, and the why behind it all. Just make sure you like the video if you like getting the truth without the hype, guys, because that's exactly what you're going to get today. A lot of straight talk. Like I said, some are going to be happy, some aren't. I can't control that. All I can do is give you guys the truth and then let you decide from there. So these truths come from 25 years worth of experience in the stock market there about myself. You're going to find out exactly what those are. And of course, I will absolutely give you my take on Tesla, Palantir, and SOFI as well. Am I bullish? Am I bearish? What are the problems? What are the why? All that sort of stuff is all going to be right in here today. So there's going to be a ton of truth here. So those of you guys that want to be open-minded and listen, you're going to get a lot of value from this. If you want to be closed-minded and create your own narratives, then I don't know, I can't help you out. I'm sorry. This may not be the channel for you. So let's jump into the first point. So truth number one, I am conservative in my estimates. There is no reason for pie in the sky projections on Tesla, on Palantir, or on SOFI or any other stock out there in the stock market. There is absolutely no reason for it, mostly because you can, project out past a year, maybe 2 years. Anything beyond that gets really, really murky. And you start looking out 2030, 2040, and some of these other ridiculous things like that, and you are purely speculating, which is a terrible way to invest. You could significantly outperform that number. You could significantly underperform that number. There is no way of telling beyond the next year or two with any degree of remote accuracy what the heck's going on. So I see no reason to give pie in the sky projections for anything. I don't see any value in even discussing those type things because they're pure speculation in the end. And oh, by the way, it's one of the most least likely things to happen, making it even less appealing to discuss. Why would I discuss something that has a 2% chance of happening or a 1% chance of happening when I can discuss something that has a 90% chance of happening? That to me makes a heck of a lot more sense. Now, the reason why folks do it is because that's a terrible way to grow your audience. As a content creator, and I remember I was an investor first long before I was ever a content creator, but a lot of folks are content creators who are making their money creating content. Nothing wrong with that at all, but they're following the rules of content creation, which means they need to evoke emotion. Well, saying, hey, well, I really wouldn't, I may buy Palantir or Tesla right now, I may not, they may be a little bit overvalued, isn't sexy, isn't getting you a lot of likes, it isn't growing your audience. But going, oh my gosh, Tesla could go up 2,100% from here in the next 5 years. And then let me show you all these pretty charts and graphs that could show it. That gets people excited. That gets people liking your videos, subscribing, buying your products, all that sort of stuff like that. I'm not saying one is right or wrong, but for me, that is not the appropriate way to invest. And that is not something I feel comfortable doing. I've been doing this for 25 years, and those type projections I have seen repeatedly in the market get investors destroyed. Get them absolutely making poor decisions. That has them buying Tesla at 400 and Palantir at 40 back in 2021 and other situations like that. Or SOFI even at 20 back during that time. If you can believe that, people were buying SOFI back then at $20 per share thinking it was going to the moon. That is what happens when that sort of thing happens. It happened to me, right? Tech bubble. Everything can just go up. That was where I cut my teeth in the market. That's also where I lost a ton of money in the market, basically all my money in the market at that stage. So I know lessons learned over the course of 25 years that if you do that, you're going to get burned sooner or later. And on top of that, you're going to get burned badly because it just seems like the more the narrative makes sense in the short term, the more likely you are to buy high and then, of course, sell low because you're going to follow the same exact narrative whenever it gets really, really negative. And again, that's what we do as retail investors. I want you to grow your wealth. And the only thing I can speak to with any sort of authority is how I did it. I can't speak to how other folks did it, or if you want to trade to a gajillion dollars, whatever the case is. There's people out there who have done it. It's rare. The numbers are against you, but there are folks out there who do it. But I can't speak to their, their method, their topic. The only thing I can speak to is what I know. And what I know is being conservative with my estimates is how I grew my wealth and how I stayed out of trouble over the past 25 years. So that's the kind of audience that I want to build. I don't want to build an audience full of folks who are looking for lottery tickets to the moon, who are looking to just, oh man, I'm just going to invest $1,000 here and it's going to turn into 10 million. I can just retire and, live the good life on a beach, whatever the case is. That's not necessarily the audience I even want, because then we can't get into what actual investing is for me in regards to returns, in regards to making sound, prudent decisions over the long run in regards to your investing. So I'm not trying to build that sort of audience anyways. So I love my audience that we have right here. A lot of you guys come here because you want to be more conservative. You want the truth without the hype, who understands and who are going to thrive regardless of what the market's doing over the long run. Sure, we're going to be down. Sure, we're going to make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. If Warren Buffett can make a mistake, who the heck am I to think that I can't make a mistake either? And any YouTuber out there telling you that, or person on CNBC or whatever, is flat out lying. I don't know what else to tell you. I would run quickly from somebody who thinks that. It's not about avoiding mistakes. It's about avoiding the disasters. And that is the reason why I'm conservative with my estimates, so I avoid those disasters. Which leads me perfectly to number 2, which is not being ultra bullish does not mean that I'm a bear. Now look, I own Tesla, Palantir, and SOFI, and I love all 3 of those stocks. But just because maybe you see a 10x in the future, and I only see a 10% return over the next couple of years with each one of those stocks annually, does not mean I'm a bear and you're a bull. It does not mean that I am bearish on the stock. And it does not mean that I do not believe in the companies or believe in the management teams or believe in what they're trying to do long term. All I can do is simply give you what I think is going to happen based upon my years of experience and based upon what I see in the numbers, in the guidance, and everything else. Now, having said that, could I be wrong? Absolutely. Could you be wrong with your 10x prediction? Absolutely. Just like I could be wrong with my 10% prediction. However, here's the difference right here, and here's why I like the way I sit. If I am wrong, meaning the stock 10x's, I win. I win massively. Now, on the flip side, if you buy this stock expecting a 10x and you only get 10%, you're not going to feel the same exact way I feel whenever I'm, quote unquote wrong. You're going to feel like, oh man, this stock's dead. I need to get out of this one. I need to jump over to the next 10x play. And we all seen how that has played out over the past 3 or 4 years. It has not worked out well for the folks that are doing that. That for me is why I'm conservative with my projections, because a stock that's going to 10x on you, it comes out of nowhere. It's not something that could be predicted, because if it could, there'd be tons of trillionaires out there. Because there's no trillionaires out there, that tells me nobody can predict when that next 10x move is coming. Trust me, the latest large cap stock to go on a 10x move is Nvidia. And everybody was saying sell it after it just doubled up. And then it doubled up again, and everybody's like, oh, well, now you got to sell. It's got to be here. I mean, there was a million sell signals all the way along the way. And it's not like prior to that, anybody could see that this 10x run was coming, because nobody even knew this chip existed. Nobody knew that Tesla and every other large cap company out there in the world with billions of dollars to spend and blow, we're going to buy all these chips en masse. If there was, there'd be a trillionaire out there somewhere, but there's not, which shows you can't predict the 10x. So I don't really see the point in even having that out there as an expectation. A great company that executes year in and year out, sooner or later has a catalyst that gives you a massive return, whether that's a 2x in a year or a 5x over the course of 5 years, or maybe even a 10x in 2 years like Nvidia did. Maybe that happens too, but it happens organically. It doesn't happen by something you quote unquote projected out over time. I have seen it repeatedly in my time talking with folks who own great companies, but the company was stagnating or sometimes even trading down. It just fell out of favor with Wall Street, whatever the case was. And it traded down and it traded down. And then, a year went by, 2 years went by, and they sold the stock because they didn't understand what was going on fundamentally. They didn't understand the fundamentals were getting better, but the stock price was coming down, which is exactly what you have, because then you get that gap. And then what inevitably happens is after they sell, the next year, the next 2 years from now, whatever the case is, the stock goes on one of those massive 10x runs. And instead of adding that whole time, they sold, got out, and then missed out on a fortune on the back end there. That happens far more than somebody guessing a stock is going to 10x and then it happening short day after they guess that. But when I put a lower expectation than a lot of other folks do, it is not me being bearish. If I'm bearish on a company, I'm just not going to own it. I'm going to get out of it. And I can think the stock price is not going anywhere on the short term because of something going on in the market itself, like just a particular sector being out of favor, or like we got in the past year where Elon basically said, hey, margins are going to get cut. We're going to have some issues as we kind of navigate this high interest rate environment, some of the other things going on out there. Okay, that was not a long-term problem or a fundamental change with the business. It was a bump in the road here, which means I'm going to get opportunity to add shares to increase my share count in the end. So I lowered my price target, which I immediately got hammered for being quote unquote bearish. No, in the end, I feel I was being prudent, and I'm up on every single share that I bought since that time frame. In some cases, up a whole lot on those shares that I bought since that time frame, because I was prudent with my investing, not because I was bearish. I was not bearish on Tesla at all. I was just prudent with my investing and knew that the market was going to give us an opportunity, and I was prepared and ready to take advantage of that opportunity. So just simply because I am not ultra bearish like some, or I have a much lower price target or a much lower growth rate than others does not make me bearish at all. That is just completely false. And that's just something that's going to get you in trouble as an investor. Now, if you want to say somebody else is more bullish than me, okay, I can buy that one. But to say I'm a bear and I'm bearish on a stock is completely not true, just because I don't have these ultra high price targets or I don't believe these crazy growth things are going to happen. Number 3, I'm not paid by any hedge fund or anyone else for that matter. Look, guys, I have never in my life been paid by anybody to discuss anything. Yes, as YouTubers, we get offers, of course, but I don't get any serious offers from any serious company ever. I have never, there's no hedge fund out there right now that even knows who I am or that I even exist. I'm sorry, that's the truth. If you think Wall Street is sitting around watching Luke's little YouTube channel here, you are severely mistaken. That is not going to happen in any way, shape, or form. They know, and I know, it's a complete waste of their time and money for reasons we'll talk about here in just a second. It is a total waste, and even if they did offer it to me, I wouldn't take the money for a multitude of reasons. The first one being just, I have my integrity to believe in, right? Why in the world, if I spent all this time, all these years building businesses, building up my investment portfolios, doing all these other things legitimately, to then take money from somebody when I don't need the money and say something or promote something that I don't believe in? That makes absolutely no sense. It's not like other folks who may be in a different situation to where they're trying to get out of where they're at. Maybe they haven't made money in the past and they're trying to grow their audience, grow their influence. And maybe that check coming from some of those other sponsors or whatever the case is a lot of money to them. And they want to take that in order to kind of move up the ladder. I'm not begrudging that, but I would have no reason to do that, first off. And second off, to think that a hedge fund is going to pay any of us to do anything, maybe a guy with several million subscribers might get an offer like that. But the vast majority of us, that is a complete waste of their money and their time. And it is simply not true. I've had exactly one sponsor on the channel. That was Webull a long time ago, probably 3 years ago now. And I dumped them the moment that I found out that they didn't allow folks to trade during the whole GameStop craze the first time. All the way around. The moment that I found out some folks got locked out, I just cut the partnership off. Cost me a few $1,000s a month, whatever the case was. I didn't care. I was like, ooh, I don't like that feeling at all at somebody else being able to do something that for me was not good for my audience. Now, I think the app is great. I actually still use it, not to trade, not to do anything else in. I don't do anything in the app in terms of actual deals, but in regards to being able to pull up charts, quick look, to be able to find quick hit information and such like that, they're great. The app is great. But I'm not going to promote or take any money from anyone who's going to do that to their users in the end. So I've dumped them and I haven't taken on a single, that was the one time and the one time only that's ever happened. Now, if somebody like Apple came to me and said, hey, we'd like for you to have a MacBook in every video or whatever the case is, and we'll give you a free MacBook if you do that, of course I would do that because I use the product. I love the product. I think the product is great and I would stand behind that product itself. But I don't think Apple's knocking on my door. If they're not knocking on all the big tech YouTubers' doors and paying them and everybody else, they're definitely not going to listen to me either. So that's a pipe dream. So there's no reason for me to ever do that. There's no reason for a hedge fund to ever pay me, more importantly, because it would be a giant waste of money and I'm not going to do it. All those years in the end of making legitimate money would be for naught if I took that money and then promoted something I did not believe in. So it's not going to happen, guys. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. Number 4, I've never shorted anything. This is another completely laughable stance that I hear all the time. I get told I'm short every single week, a certain stock, whatever the stock is at the time, every single week, and nothing could be further from the truth. I have never shorted a stock ever in my life. I don't even make bullish option plays, much less shorting the market and making short option plays. To me, it is dumb. You are playing a losing game. The market is actually rigged to go up, not down. So short sellers, not only is it incredibly hard just from a timing standpoint, even if you know a stock's going to go down, if you get the timing wrong, your shorts are going to blow up on you. So it's incredibly hard to get right. But even more so, the market can step in and totally screw you over, and there's nothing you can do about it. The SEC can do it. There's all kinds of folks that have stepped in routinely to basically, I won't say crush the shorts, but they pretty much end up crushing the shorts, even when the shorts are right and they have everything lined up and they're perfect and they should make a fortune and it's quote unquote a free market. They will step in to prevent a bigger disaster and basically screw the shorts. It happens all the time, guys. So why in the world would I want to play a game that's incredibly hard? The market is rigged against it. Why would I do that? It doesn't, and on top of that, I got to get the timing right, which nobody gets the timing right. I routinely get the timing wrong. Trust me, my group tells me every single day, hey, Luke, you buy and then the stock dips the next day. Yeah, I know. It's kind of like the Luke discount that you guys all wait for. Everybody's got to wait until I buy, then you buy after that. And you're guaranteed to get a lower price. It's just an impossible game to play at that stage. But yet I get accused of it every single week, and nothing could be further from the truth. I'm a buy and hold investor. That's it. And the reality is, I hardly sell. A lot of folks join the group and they're like, hey, Luke, when are you going to sell this? When are you going to sell that? I don't know. I'm not. The best hold time, according to Warren Buffett, is forever if you got the right company. So I plan on holding until something fundamentally changes. So I probably am guilty of the opposite, not selling enough at that stage. I think I've sold maybe once this year, maybe, and it was just a stock that I got on a spinoff that I didn't want, that was in a sector that I didn't understand. I could be wrong about that. Maybe there was one other time, but that's it. Like, I typically don't sell at all. I'm guilty of doing the opposite of not selling. So shorting makes absolutely no sense with any of my strategies, anything else that I do. And so no, sorry, I don't short the market. I never have, and I don't believe that I ever will either. It is just a losing game in the end. And number 5, it's laughable that I can move markets. Now, if you think a guy on YouTube with 110,000 subs is going to move Tesla stock in any meaningful way, you really don't understand how the stock market works at all. There's just no way that I can move virtually any stock in the stock market in any way, shape, or form. Maybe some of the guys with a few million followers or such maybe might be able to make a little bit of a move in a stock like Tesla or, like a Palantir or something like that. But in reality, we are not moving anything. And especially somebody my size, even though I love my channel, I love my subscribers, I love the size that we're at actually. We're laughably small in the YouTube finance community, much less, being able to actually move, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of market cap stocks. Me not liking Tesla's earnings or the upcoming robotaxi event or FSD or whatever the case is going is not moving the stock at all. Nobody freaking cares in the end in regards to the overall broader stock market. Me thinking Palantir is a little bit overvalued right now makes no material difference to where Palantir goes over the next week, the next month, the next year. It makes absolutely no difference in regards to what the market is going to do with those stocks. Even if somebody paid me $1 billion to tell you guys and to sell my Tesla stock, even though my audience is awesome and I love you guys, we are making no material difference to Tesla stock, even if we all sold out all in the same day, all at the same time. Now, maybe with a teeny tiny penny stock that trades over the counter, we might be able to make some sort of a movement in a stock like that. That I could get with. But anything else in regards to Teslas and Palantirs and all the stocks that we talk about on this channel right here, I have absolutely no influence over that stock price. And more importantly, I don't want influence over the stock price. I'm not Warren Buffett. He moves markets. Warren Buffett makes a decision. Warren Buffett makes a buy or he makes a sell. It moves markets. But even look at that situation. Since he sold out of Apple, Apple has actually gone up. And man, one, he sold billions upon billions upon billions of dollars worth of it. And two, he is one of the biggest signals and one of the biggest things that people follow in the stock market. And yet you see the stock actually move in the exact opposite direction of what Buffett did. So it just illustrates perfectly how thinking that myself or other folks out there are somehow influencing the broader market in a lot of different ways is just simply not true. I do not have that sort of influence over the stock market. So thinking that is just laughable. I'm just sorry. I'm just being honest here. It's just laughable. So what is the bottom line with Tesla, Palantir, and SOFI? So let me be very, very clear. I am bullish on Tesla, Palantir, and SOFI. I will also be not selling any of those, but buying more when they hit my price targets. I will be adding to each one of those stocks. However, let me also be very clear. I am going to tell you when I feel they are overvalued from a valuation perspective. I will tell you the truth when those situations come up. Now, granted, it is my opinion, but it's my opinion based upon that valuation. When those stocks hit overvalued, I will be patient and then buy the stock when it's the appropriate time to buy the stock according to my plan, according to my valuation, and according to my price targets. And I will be upfront with you guys about all that sort of stuff, just like I have this entire time. That is what kept me from buying Tesla at 400 and instead was piling in money like crazy as it continued to fall all the way down to $100 or so. We almost got under 100, but as it continued to fall, I bought heavier and heavier and heavier. I will not just be bullish to be bullish and continue to give crazy price targets and not give you guys what I feel is the honest truth of what's going on in regards to valuation, just simply to grow my audience or anything else like that. Simply because I want us all to win, and the only way I know is to just show you exactly what I'm doing, show you exactly what I'm feeling, and so that way we avoid the disasters that inevitably come with continuing to be endlessly bullish without actually putting any fundamental reasons behind that bullishness. I don't want you guys to get burned, and that doesn't mean we're going to win 100% of the time. We are going to have losers, but we're going to have losers based upon being conservative and based upon good fundamental investing in the end, which means overall we are most likely going to have more winners than losers, and that is how you win long-term in the stock market. That's how I've won in the past. That's how I'm going to continue to try to win in the future here, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here because that is what I know works. And that to me is what I feel I'm authentically giving you the truth without the hype is exactly that. And if you want to go next level in your investing, you want to really learn, hey, how the heck does Luke get those valuations? How the heck does he understand price targets and things of that nature? Make sure you check out the pinned comment down there. I may have left something for those of you guys that stuck around this long in the video there. If you want to take 5 courses for free, get your free coaching, use our stock analyzer tool, talk to me directly at our live Q&As, have direct access to me in the Discord, in my DMs, be a part of the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord out there supporting you and helping you out with all kinds of things that you need help with, and so much more, guys. Check out the pinned comment, see if a membership's right for you. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market, and click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.